How do we want to intro this?
Like a couple of degenerates, that's fair. We just started out. You know.
So that's right there is our intro?
Yeah, the answer is
like a couple degenerates with a bottle of whiskey, Bryan bought?
The answer is, if we're not doing this how it's us, then the answer is we're doing it wrong. This is not a plug. We do love you, Rebecca Creek. However, this is not a sponsor. That's why you have to like and subscribe. This is right down the road. This is 100 proof, so it's...
That seems to be a thing with Texas whiskeys. They seem to be stronger on average.
This state sucks so bad we got to drink ourselves into a stupor to not know what's going on. By the way, I still live here. I still love Texas, but sometimes. Really? Product placement?
I'm trying to figure out how to get it to stay in frame. In case anybody has not figured out, this is not going to be my regular kind of video. Bryan and I, as you probably saw in the range video, we just, that's good. And by the way, there is actually a topic to this video. We'll get there eventually. Is modern rounds for an AR-15 for self-defense / hunting, because let's face it, if it kills a hog, a deer, an axis, probably works pretty on two-legged. Wow.
The two-legged variant.
Two-legged, I swear, this is the first whiskey I've had.
Fantastic. He's just got allergies, which we'll blame it on.
I'm blaming it on the allergy medicine. So anyway, the point is, we're talking about 6.5 Grendel, 6 ARC, 300 Blackout, and 5.56, specifically in regards to in an AR-15 for that use case, not just general purpose, not which one's better overall, but better in certain circumstances, and how you define better. Because he and I differ in our opinions of what is better, what criteria we apply.
We know what the real answer is.
The real answer is
6 ARC.
Right. He thinks it's 6 ARC.
Okay, no, I don't think that. I have personal biases.
No.
I have personal biases. 6.5 Grendel is the single best AR-15 cartridge if you are hunting. In my personal opinion, you get all kinds of 6.5 ballistics, you get all kinds of reliability of the AR-15, and your bullet choices for expansion for hunting and other type options is the greatest differentiating factor that gives 6.5 Grendel its peak over 6 ARC in my opinion.
And it doesn't hurt that you get to use a mythological monster as your tool of choice. Just saying. It's just.
However, as a lover of autism and insanity, the fact that 6 ARC was Hornady and Noveski's baby, and I think Proof and a couple other companies were on there, which is all Gucci, finger stimming companies, all went and said, let's go after a DoD contract. My personal biases said, well, what does retard math do? And the answer is, it is a glorious offensive round. I love 6 ARC.
He has this thought that he's going to need to use this at 1,000 yards. And if you're going to, if you pass 500 yards, and there's no question, 6 ARC is the winner in this list by not a small amount. The further you go, the bigger the discrepancy is, and we will get into some numbers later. My preference for the hunting / distance role would be 6.5. I think that Grendel gives you, how to put this, I like big bullets and I cannot lie. I like bigger bullets doing their thing. I think that...
All right, Sir drops a lot.
Right. When it doesn't work, when things go wrong, a bigger bullet does more. However, Bryan brought up a really good point the other day. Your bullet choice, matching your use case, is critical. If you use the right bullet with the 6 ARC, how much really is there a difference? And the answer, to shortcut this whole video, you can just stop after this.
Yeah, TL and TLDR.
It is. It doesn't matter. Pick the right bullet. In the real world, it's going to work.
Because if we're taking this into account for modern barrel lengths,
What, I'll shoot test barrels, 24 inches?
The answer is the main character wins, of course. If we are going for full main character, we are running 55 grain, 62 grain maximum, 20 inch M16, A1, A2, A4, whatever it is, 20 inch barrel, and the answer is 5.56.
Why not just a 249?
Well, because...
More is better.
No, because the saw gunner always gets killed.
Okay, yeah, he wasn't War on Terror. He was out before that.
The answer is the main character energy always comes from the M16. Like that's it's main character energy. But most people
are we talking Marine M16 with
the answer is it doesn't matter.
Barrel,
the answer is 20-inch barrel,
right?
Giga Chad.
The Army went M4, so now we're down to like a 14 or whatever.
Dude, 14.5 is I love it. I own a 14.5. I own an 18. I just don't own an 11.5 yet, which is the superior SBR 5.56 length. Not that the Mark 18 is not cool, it's just...
It was cool, what, 10
BCM
years
is
ago?
right, 11.5 is the best.
I don't know, didn't Grant Thumb decide that 12 inch was the best?
His preferred is 11.5 if you put a can on it, and 12.5 if you don't put a can on it, for 5.56.
Right, which is kind of key, because if you don't put a can on it, shorter barrels with all of these except 300 Blackout, let's just say you'll lose eye hair, like eyebrows and eyelashes, and you can look. It
turns into a video game.
Yeah.
You inflict fire damage, not just physical damage.
Yeah. At room distances, look, you missed, but they're still on fire. They're still deaf. Everybody's deaf.
Yeah, ma.
You know, the wall has a dent in it from the concussive blast. And that's the wall next to you, not in front of you.
Yeah.
Which is why my house gun is 300 Blackout with a suppressor, because I would like to be able to hear the cops telling me, we're coming in, put the gun down. Just saying, it's important, because if they come in and you haven't put the gun down, we've seen how that goes. And keep in mind, guys, this is test barrels for most of this, and you're all running suppressors, right?
Hey, with the fact that it's 3-day time frames, I mean, the answer is, instead of buying that new gun, buy the can, which is also a firearm, which means you still actually checked off a BAX.
Yeah.
I don't know what a BAX is. Apparently we're both having issues already. You've ticked off the box of a new firearm, legally.
So 6-ARC, 103 grain, where these are all hornady loads, unless we tell you otherwise. 6-ARC, 103 grain ELD-X, so the premium hunting / defensive non-varmint load. Muzzle energy is 1,793 foot-pounds from a test barrel. Now that's key, because that's a long barrel. Almost 1,800. By 500 yards, you're still at almost 900. Like, right? It's still, that's pretty damn good. And you only dropped 44 inches. These 100-yard zeros, your mileage may vary if you change a zero. In comparison, the poor little 6.5 is over 1,800 at the muzzle, still higher at 100, but by 500, it is just lagging behind, and it gets worse from there. It just, like, it's fading fast after that. And it's 53 inches down at 500. So almost 10 more inches drop, which is enough that, well, now you missed, because if you aimed center of the chest and you had 44 inches of drop.
I will argue that the pelvic bowl is at a very, very effective
But you would
place.
had to shoot at your head. If you aim at my head at 44 inches down, you shot between my legs.
You know what, yeah, touche.
So, although I don't disagree we were having this discussion with Craig yesterday. Aim for the pelvic area, and then while they're on the ground, you shoot them in the head. Because if you shoot a guy, even if they're wearing armor, if they've got that whole groin protector thing going on,
The leaky leg.
what guy is not going to still be on the ground, or at the very least, checking that they're still there? Technically, 6.5 up close, no surprise, bigger, heavier bullet, does better up close. Now let's get into Hornady's latest and greatest 223 round, because it suddenly starts looking a little different. 1,290 KE. I mean, this is foot-pounds of energy. 1,290 is not bad, right? I mean, this is a 223. Still about 1,000 at 100 yards, but notice that we're 50% down. Sorry, we're 30% down. But by 500 yards, it's only at 300 foot-pounds of energy. Not 600 or 500. It's 296. That's all you got. 296 foot-pounds of energy. Not good.
It's basically 380 at that point.
Yeah, you're down into not great handgun territory, and it's just fading fast.
Granted, if you can shoot your handgun to 500 yards, then the answer is you've already won. In spirit, at least.
That is the 55 grain CX load. Great, it works great, but at 500 yards, you're pretty wussy. Now,
Coyotes, varmints,
yeah,
like that.
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want to get hit with it. I'm not saying it won't hurt. I'm not saying it won't do the job. I'm just saying,
If my options are 500 foot-pounds
yeah.
more,
If everything else on this chart is higher, that's not my first choice. 300 Blackout, AAC Blackout, the Barnes load, the 110 grain black tip, TAC TX, 1350 at the muzzle. Nothing special. It's only a number 3, but not even close to number 1 and number 2. At 100 yards, we're down to 1,000. So it's just squeaking out ahead of the 55 grain TX or CX. But at 400 yards, still 458 foot-pounds of energy. Doing pretty good. It's still doing that out of a short little SBR. Because remember, all these other ones are in test barrels. This one doesn't care. Chop that barrel in half, those other ones really lose a lot. AAC 77 grain out of an SBR goes from, and this is not velocity, this is energy, 1120 down to 890 in an SBR. That's a pretty significant hit. That's at the muzzle. And that's from a 16 inch down to, I think, an 8 inch. Mr. Guns and Gear's SBR. I say it like he only has one, but his 5.56 SBR that he used in the video.
Mike, Mr. Guns and Gear, yeah.
I gotta imagine there's a closet full.
Yeah.
It is worth pointing out, all of these are kinetic energy. So it's KE, not momentum, which means that the 6 arc, and to some extent the 6.5, have a huge advantage because faster is more valuable to that number. Whereas the 300 Blackout, and again, to some extent, the 6.5 Grendel versus the 6 arc, you got a bigger bullet going a little slower, so when the speed starts dropping off, you didn't lose as much in actual momentum, but you lost a ton of your KE. If your opponent is wearing cheap body armor that you're actually going to get through, maybe, then that matters. If your opponent is not wearing body armor, then yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Now again, a lot of this is going to be for, like, say, factory ammo. If we actually want to, like, talk about reloading, which there is a 90 grain CX, which is insane.
Yeah.
It is pushing on, even on the SBR, you're getting 16 inch 5.56.
Is he getting over 3,000 with that?
On the 16.
Yeah.
He's pushing it about that much
Yeah,
because he's
I mean,
doing
that's
hot
just-
loads.
yeah.
But on an SBR, he's still getting around 26-ish, 25, 26.
Yeah. Every time you tap, you're making a transient on the mic.
Leave it in.
Let's put it this way, don't tap while you're talking. Because if I boost your audio, then
It's just Morse code for the autism.
I have no idea what I just said. Somebody who knows Morse code, let me know.
Probably, again, what you were claiming before is he likes big bullets and he cannot lie. From there, though, like, and then that's the kind of the thing is, if you take some of these newer rounds with the newer concept of how we do the math on twist rate to help for balance versus just bumming the crap out of it with your WSMs, WSSMs, all the other stuff,
They were good for their time.
And the future is now, old man.
Right. Look, I don't disagree. I think that.
But like these 80 grain. Oh, there's 80 grain, and then there's 90 grain CXs on a 6.
Does Lehigh make anything for the arc?
No. Lehigh makes 243 bullets, but they make like 243 Winchester length bullets.
I think something like the Lehigh Extreme Defense or Extreme Penetrator would be absolutely disgusting out of a 6 arc.
So the answer is the Super 9.
Yes.
12-inch 350 Legend.
But even faster.
I mean, that's right.
Because, if you do a 60 grain solid copper Lehigh defense bullet out of a 6 arc, are you hitting 3,500?
Yeah.
And keep in mind, if you're not familiar with the Lehigh defense stuff, it doesn't work based on the bullet expanding. It works on the concept of if you hit something alive, we're a high percentage of water. They literally create a shock wave from that water that destroys everything. Like the temporary wound cavity is bigger than the object it's contained in.
It is designed to do a 3x multiplier beyond most expansion for rounds.
Yeah.
It is because of the twist rate and how the actual pre-cut fluted bullet. It's just decided that it's gonna,
It's absolutely brutal. But it goes through anything that is not soft, doesn't have water, isn't alive, like it's not even there, because it doesn't expand. The round does not change. It goes through things, and unless it hits something that deforms it, it comes out the other side in the same shape it was when it started. But it is velocity dependent. If you don't have enough speed, it doesn't work as well. You want to explain the Super 9? Since I don't think I've
Super
ever
9
discussed it on my
is a dream.
It's a fantasy.
It's a fever dream, is probably the best way to do it. A 12-inch 350 Legend SBR with, of course, you have to load your own ammo basically, and it's going to be the 118 grain Lehigh Defense Extreme Defenders. Or Extreme Defense, whatever it is, and it's the same thing with 118 grain 9mm, 355, and you just load it at rifle speeds out of a SBR, and the answer is knock knock, and then punching holes through literally anything.
A round that works better the faster it goes, and it was designed for pistol speeds, is now doing fast rifle speeds. It's brutal. Like the whole concept. We haven't actually demonstrated this. At some point, we're gonna have to find somebody who's got the equipment to load 350 Legend and has a 350 Legend we can test this with and shoot like.
So what we're saying is like and subscribe so we can make one. And
Patreon people.
It's just a Patreon.
Patreon. It's there. Nobody's using it, but it's there.
We're gonna make a Patreon.
It's already there.
OnlyFans.
No, we are not doing OnlyFans.
Look. My idea is fantastic. It's going to be one single foot and then a fan of some kind. Ceiling, hat clip-on fan, but only 1 foot. And it's not the same foot every time. It's just random foot, and it may or may not be like superimposed over the fan.
Right.
You
Google image search.
Like
feet.
Copy
paste.
Feet finder, whatever you want to do it. However you choose to donate.
Look, I told him to bring the hot blonde, and we were just going to do the filming and feed her lines.
I forgot my wig. I'm sorry.
No, because you're lacking something else for this. But
balloons exist.
True.
And basically, that's what implants are. Made of silicone, but or water and saline bags.
No, we could do water balloons. We get the jiggle going. Okay. Back on topic.
Clearly demonetized, but
we've been at this point we're toast. The real key here is that there's a round for all of these that work. It just depends on what you're using. You pick the right bullet. If you're hand loading, your options increase even more.
Exponentially.
The real problem is buying it. Look, I like 6.5 Grendel. I like 300 Blackout. I like 5.56. But if I walk into the gun store, any gun store, my odds of finding 6.5 Grendel, even just the ammo, slim.
Slim to none. 6 ARC is almost a guaranteed not.
You walk in and you're like, I need a box of ammo because I'm headed hunting and I forgot my ammo. Oops. Or we went to the range, we shot a bunch of ammo, we would like to replace it without making an online order. Oh, whoops, nope, can't do that. 300 Blackout, 5.56. Most gun stores, you can get almost anything you want. Maybe you can't find one specific obscure load, but you can probably find that bullet. Maybe it just wasn't the right manufacturer. There's something. And then it comes down to price, because realistically, I was actually surprised. I was legitimately shocked, because when I pulled pricing this morning, if you go shopping for ammo, I was expecting to have a bigger difference. Plinking ammo, there is no such thing for 6 ARC. They're literally, you better load your own because it does not exist. The cheapest ammo I found online from a vendor I would be willing to give my credit card information to was $1.20, and it was Hornady Black 105 grain boat tail hollow points. This was good ammo. Well, it was only 15 cents cheaper per round than the top choice for ammo, the 103 ELD-X. So $1.20 to $1.35, why bother with the plinking ammo at that point?
So you start reloading,
Right.
And buy Barry's 243 bullets, like 6mm bullets, the Barry's ones, and you just.
And that's what you take to the range. That's what you shoot just for fun.
But also, one my other thing that I brought up the other day too was the fact that if we're having this conversation normally around 6.5 Grendel and 6 ARC, the answer is we're not even talking about a normal person anyway.
True.
Your average Joe that's going to walk into a store is looking for 300 Blackout or
At the
a
most,
5.56.
Yeah, they may not have even heard of 6 ARC, or they just read about it once in a magazine.
In passing, their buddy who's in a gear, gun nerd, talked to them. I was like, hey, have you heard about this, 6.5 Grendel? Because they're like 3 or 5 years behind.
Or a decade.
Look, yes, just because it's been around for a decade doesn't mean it's ever going to rise to prominence except for the last 5 years or so.
Yeah.
Well, technically more than that, but
It was tough to get bolts. It was tough to get magazines. Like it was.
And then if you already, and again, this is also another thing that's really nice, is if you already are into 6.5 Grendel, it's a bolt pattern too for 6 ARC.
Yeah.
It's the same parent.
You buy a different barrel. You could skip even a whole new upper. You could just buy another barrel. Everything else is the same. So hey, you shot 6.5 Grendel for a while, and you're like, I'm mostly using this at long range. Feel free. Like you can just switch. It's no big deal.
It's it'll have the ability to as well. There's going to be new bullets for it. It is, of course, Hornady's baby, so the actual, the train of infrastructure is behind them on that.
If they ever get off their butts and start actually making it. Just saying. Because just because they put their hype train behind it didn't seem to equal assembly lines.
I mean, I can get boxes, but yeah, again, ordering online and
it is not the same.
It's fair. But as far as making it, I can go online. But again, at this point, how many people are going to the store to buy things now anyway?
But,
for TVs,
but I would argue
for all the other stuff.
I would argue that it isn't a decision maker, but it's a point in favor.
That's fair.
Of the more logistically simple rounds.
For normie stuff.
Yeah. For trying to create widespread adoption.
If anybody and I guess that's one of the things too is like we're looking at something from what that could be considered like a Wonder 6 category for your PRS guys. Like
well they're already they're three rounds later.
People still already use 6BR, 6 Dash, or 6
6 Max.
Well, okay.
22 Creed.
Only one person
ARC.
makes 6 Max. It doesn't exist technically.
It doesn't exist. I tried. I looked. You can't actually buy it.
But
the numbers look great, by the way.
All these
6 Max. I'm there for it.
Supply chain is going to be
even
easier.
as soon as it exists.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's keep going with pricing, so we can digress later.
Yeah.
The 55 grain CX load for 223, just as much as the Grendel. The 75 grain boat tails, basically the same as Grendel. It's a hair cheaper, but not enough to care. But you can get plinking loads for 223, 5.56 for less than 50 cents a round. So if you just want to go to the range and have fun, if you want to put back 10,000 rounds for the apocalypse, that's your round of choice. I would argue that anybody looking at all of these already has the 5.56, right?
Most likely.
Like it's not a either or, it's a
or they're looking at it because they're already a fan, depending on your age, right? So we understand that the age group for this channel is I'm a boomer too. In the meme-wise, at least. I have old people views on most things. I'm just an angry old man.
Would you like more to drink?
Please.
We can fix that.
Yes, sir.
However, you can be an angry younger man.
However,
we get younger as we drink, right?
The culture. Again, we are in Bernie, Texas, and the answer is the amount of subscribers, or the people who have, I should say, subscribers that live in this town, is in the millions and substantial across multiple platforms. I
was going to say we're in the high millions, except that I think there's so much overlap that it's probably.
Oh, sure, they're not necessarily unique, but you've got.
Because if we take Demo Ranch, he's what, 12 million now or something?
The answer is I don't want. Love you, Matt. Saw you in the coffee shop. I personally do not watch every video he has.
I know. I haven't watched anything in a while.
It just depends on who you have on. And from there, what you have. Because sometimes I've seen some stuff and I'm like, okay, I'm definitely watching that video.
I'm a bad YouTube subscriber. I don't watch much because usually if I have time to sit there and be watching, I should be editing because I'm like 3 videos behind. Just saying.
Yeah. He still likes to sleep. I'm young enough that sleeping is an option still.
He's also married, so like if I had time to be going out and meeting people, I would be doing that. And
going to the store for chocolate milk is not
counts.
how you can.
It counts.
Okay, yes.
Because if the cute chick is also reaching for the chocolate milk. If you meet a woman in the
grocery store, the ability to potentially be a real human being is far greater than the one nightclub in Bernie.
That's true. Do we have a nightclub in Bernie?
Look, I don't know.
I thought that was one of the breweries.
There's like one.
It's probably underground somewhere. I will just say, Eli,
there's got to be
Eli, your girl gave me a very friendly smile one day in the dairy aisle at HEB. Mostly because I looked at her like 3 times trying to figure out if it was actually her, and she was probably nervous that I was some psycho. But yeah.
Which means that since he already knows it's Sav and Eli, yes, he is a psycho. Well, I mean, of course I know too. Like
I'm not a psycho. I just couldn't figure out which of the many
put it in the comments.
Short, cute girls around here with long dark hair she was.
Are we or are we not? I think we know the answer. We'll be honest.
I am perfectly normal.
Says the guy who owns the gun channel. By the way,
wait. By that standard, we're saying that most of those other YouTubers in this channel are not normal.
We're all on the list.
I'm on every list.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is we're on
including
the list.
The idiots list.
I mean, yeah, we're on the list. You got Eli, you got Donut, Brandon.
Yeah, the difference is that Eli probably maintains the list. Eli's over there doing some creative editing on the list.
Hi everyone, we would like to get you your subscribing time. The people who watch that stuff, that's going to be a younger demographic who is interested in these types of things and the progression of firearms technology. If we're going to actually do that. I know that was a hard left turn.
We're just returning to our previous digression.
The people who are going to be interested in these types of things are already okay with spending time online.
True.
Good or bad. Good or bad. That
Yeah, the average customer for ARC and Grendel doesn't mind buying things online.
Yeah.
However, I have
use code Micah7. For to support Grantham's cameraman.
No.
Well, do we have a code yet, or you have a code yet?
No, I have 7,000 subscribers, most of which are fake because they came from one short and never came back. You all suck. Watch the damn videos. I mean, you didn't watch this one, so you didn't see me say that. Because if you're watching this, thank you. You were here.
And also, hate watching is acceptable. Please,
I'm good with that. You can
please hate me.
You can thumbs down. Engagement counts. It doesn't matter whether you thumbs up or thumb down. I don't care. So, yeah.
I think one of the biggest determining factors that you're going to have for the success is not going to be the older generation for 6 ARC. 6.5 Grendel is going to be that bridging cartridge. It is the hunting cartridge. Yeah. It is the obscure enough that does a fantastic job at what it does that you can bridge the generational gaps.
But I would argue that the people that fit that demographic do not care enough. They grabbed the 30-30 that they've had in their truck longer than either of us have been alive, shot the hog, moved on with life.
It's true. It's true.
So,
and even now, because of Grantham, I want a 30-30/4570 that's all like Gucci and moderned out.
Because that person, while they might know about and like and understand the concept of all this new stuff, they're not that into it.
Yeah, they're not going to necessarily invest the stuff. The younger demographics will be the driving factor.
Their kid goes, no, Dad, I don't want to use your 30-30. There's 10 hogs. I would like to get more than 1, right? Or 2. Because if you're quick with a 30-30 lever gun, you can probably get 2.
Yeah, a semi-automatic. Certainly, well, again, for me, the reason that 6-ARC is going to be the biggest future part is you have supportive bullets. Like an ELD-X performance,
Yeah.
it's a fantastic bullet. The CXs, they maintain such good overall density that you can, again, shoot through barriers like cinder blocks if you needed to, or a car windshield, or any of those things, given the fact that it was for the DoD.
And
A hunting bullet,
Yeah.
the amount of muzzle rise or any of that stuff, you're going to run a 100 grain, probably a 90 to 100 and something grain, 103 grain bullet. And
Very light recoil, very flat. Not just the trajectory, but the rifle stays flat.
Yeah,
6.5 is going to have more felt recoil.
These people are also going to be investing, are far more okay with the investment in a can and investment of stuff. Because there's a lot of really good cans coming out that are going to be on the cheaper side. So you can get a versatile, cheaper can suppressor. Silencer for the legal term. So you can get these lighter recoils, you can get these faster stuff with a higher quality bullet, because there is no such thing as a low quality bullet for a 6-ARC. That is one of its downsides.
Well, but you could argue that it is a good thing, because a 6.5 Grendel, the number of bullets you could pick that are wrong is high.
That's true.
Because you go, oh, I picked a bullet that I thought was going to be great because it gets great reviews, right? Yeah, at 6.5 Creedmoor, 6.5 Swede speeds, and now
6.5 Carcano.
Well, that wasn't that fast. But then you slowed it down to 6.5 Grendel speeds, because I mean that's a smaller cartridge. You've only got so much powder, but you slowed it down. And now it didn't perform nearly as well. And it's not that there aren't good choices, but like 6-ARC, like you said, there's only good ones. It's hard to be wrong.
And you'll just have to play around with whatever your barrel likes, your gun, because that's going to be a determining factor. But once you find it,
don't use a varmint bullet on a hog. That's not going to work.
Because that's one of the things for stuff. If you have a truck gun, the answer is you get a folding stick, because you get a law folder, or you get whatever thing. You get a straighter butt. Pistols now.
Get one of the pistols, or get.
And again,
we're
CMMG.
We're saying AR15. But keep in mind, if you talk semi-auto in this size category, you can get an AR180 kind of thing. You can get, what is it? Is the Galil you can do a folder on it, right?
Oh, yeah. So piston guns, your piston guns are going to be an option. CMMG is going to have stuff. For the different models that they come from the factory, you can order an upper that is 6-ARC out the box. And if you, again, if you already are a 6.5 Grendel person, again, my stance is still that it is the best AR-15 hunting cartridge that we have available to us for hunting is 6.5 Grendel. Because of the bullet choices, it is going to be the best. From there, though, in that pocket, it's the same bolt carrier group. So you pop it out, your one, same, exactly.
You're not making a multiple investment thing. You could literally have 2 uppers, same stash of magazines, same can, just get a 30 cal can, and go, okay, I got 1 spare bolt. I have a bolt in each upper. Don't be mixing your bolts. They're the same size, but don't do that.
I was saying do that. You pull it out of the back of one. And throw it
if you're only hunting with it, so you're not doing a lot of rounds, sure. But you can mess with your head spacing because it wears in differently on different uppers.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is not to say I don't do that occasionally, but my high round count stuff lives in that upper. But certainly you can get away with it. It's not that horrible. I'm not saying do it. I'm just saying that it's not as big a deal as some people would like to make it out to be. But it lets you go.
If you're poor and you can only do so much,
you're probably not shooting enough ammo.
As a married man, I'm poor. From there.
But that goes right back to you're not shooting enough rounds through that.
He also did just call me poor, and I don't practice apparently. So there's that.
Correct on both counts. Neither of us has the budget to shoot nearly as much as we would like. Which is why you need to like and subscribe and Patreon and
so that we can do more of that.
Yeah.
Or that, again, I can be, police, or may I have some rounds because he's sponsored.
Or, by the way, we will take ammo sponsorships. Just saying. Like, we are
Even
not.
you, Wolf.
Yeah. Look, I mean, if you can smuggle it in, we're good. 'Cause I don't have any paperwork for imports. So my paperwork doesn't predate that.
It's fair. We don't want to pull, what's this?
But I will go down to Corpus Christi, and if that boat magically appears with a couple cases of ammo,
For legal reasons, this is a joke.
I will not ask any questions in Minecraft. But this is why, this is why 5.56 continues to be the dominant player. Because let's face it,
It's ubiquitous.
it's ubiquitous, it's cheap, it is easy. Because I don't need to worry about it. I can buy a whole bolt carrier group for under $100 that I know is gonna work. Like, odds are really slim that there's gonna be a problem. I can go buy ammo, 45 cents around for perfectly functional ammo. It's out there. Versus my cheap option being minimum of 82 cents on 6.5 Grendel, minimum. Like, that was, I'm not sure I trust that vendor, and I don't know who made that bullet. Privy Partisan was 95 cents. And like a couple years ago, Privy Partisan was out of the 6.5 Grendel game. Like, their factory for that was shut down.
PPU, we love you, please.
Yeah.
Of all of them. Look,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously one of the biggest sponsors on YouTube that exists right now, of course, is AAC. But man, PPU, if you want to throw,
I've been using PPU as my default mil-spec ammo since I got into semi-autos.
range ammo,
Yeah.
MagTech and PPU are my two favorites for NATO 124s for practice rounds.
I do the Privy
love it.
M193, and I usually buy it in the battle box, like the battle pack, 200 rounds at a time.
The battle pass.
Self-contained. Yeah, because then it's always the same. I'm not going, oh, this month it was Winchester, this month it was Federal, it was Federal American Eagle. Say no to Coke first. Like, right after that, American Eagle. I know more rifles that fail, not spectacularly, like just don't function with American Eagle, that any other freaking ammo works fine. Wolf, not even the hot Wolf, like the cheap junk lowest tier, they run fine.
The Tula I had did not want to run. Like the steel casings.
Yeah.
They
stuck?
Because it was shearing off the sides. I was dumping as much,
Yeah.
and it was just, I was having to mortar it every time. And then I went to brass, and it just, magged up.
Who made your upper?
Ruger.
Yeah, it's probably overgassed.
It's a rifle length, yeah. It's a full on.
Oh, that's weird then.
The 18-inch,
Yeah,
the
because
NPR.
usually if they're overgassed, you have more pressure.
Not to say that it's not overgassed, just that
it'd be weird if it was, or
with
if
a
it was
rifle
that much,
length,
yeah.
18-inch, like full on, yeah.
Do you run a carbine buffer or a rifle buffer?
I think it's carbine.
Okay, that might be it.
Because I got the 14.5 upper that I have.
Yeah, so you're mixing. Because what happens, guys, is on steel cased, there's more friction in the chamber. Brass is slippery. With steel case, there's more friction. And when you have a gas gun, it wants to open. Like, pressure is coming back, pushing against the bolt. The bolt, there's a lag. And the bolt is coming back. The bolt carrier group is coming back. And hopefully, your chamber pressure has dropped enough that the round is not physically welded to the chamber when the bolt carrier group bottoms out and starts pulling on that bolt. If it is, well, something's got to give.
Yeah.
Something's going to give. And unfortunately, in the Wolf case, a lot of times it shears the edge of the rim off or just pops over it. But that's usually an overpressure in your rifle. Not the round is overpressure, but like your gas port's too big or your buffer is too light or something. The bolt is coming back before the round is ready to be extracted. But not always. There's certainly been cases of Wolf sticking in chambers when nothing else was wrong.
And I was literally having to mortar and then like put a ramrod down the actual like muzzle to get it.
Yeah, were they the coated ones or the bare steel ones?
I think it was bare steel. I don't know. All I could tell you is that I got rid of that stuff, went back to brass, haven't put anything else, and never had any more issues.
Yeah, brass is slippery. Like I've said this before, I think the next revolution in firearms technology, like the next step that's going to let us really violate the principles we currently have to work with, is going to be the ability to increase the pressure because case material advances far enough. Because if
SIG's pushing it right now,
yeah,
the polymer rounds, or
but they're not violating the limits. They're violating the current
or finer sensibilities.
Yeah, because they're still limited by the head of that case.
Yeah.
They're just going, well, the polymer body of the case doesn't care. It's just being shoved against the walls of the chamber. What I'm saying is that if we can come up with a metal alloy or a ceramic alloy, I don't care, polymer alloy, something, anything.
Put a Glock in the chamber. That'll work.
No, they go kaboom. You're going to put an unsupported chamber in an unsupported chamber, and then he's going to shove a 40 caliber round in there, plus P round.
I cannot believe that I'm defending this, but as far as my experience has been, from my understanding, the only Glocks that went kaboom were the Glock 20s and 40s, the 10 mil. But also, that's not fair to Glock, given the fact that everybody's 10 mils were going kaboom at the time.
It was regular 40s.
Well, yeah, but 40's the wrong cartridge.
Well, true. It's wussy 10, but it was unsupported 40 cal chambers, and people were going, "Oh, let me run plus P in that," and you're like, "There's a gaping hole in your chamber. Like it's not."
Glock smileys.
Oops. And I mean, they fixed it. And admittedly, like it wasn't just them. It's just that when you sell 1 million guns to a market that is going to put plus P in it.
Well, I mean, yeah, but now basically all chambers, almost every single reputable manufacturer is supported for plus P. The M&P 2.0s?
I don't know.
I've seen somebody shoot the gun with another gun, shot the Smith & Wesson, the gun itself, slammed the stuff in there, went and ran it again, just mag dumped it.
So in other words, you're saying that the M&P 2.0 is a yeet cannon. He said it, not me. I'm just pointing out that he is describing the yeet cannon.
Hey, the answer is that the yeet cannon is far too reliable, more so than it should be.
By the way, we actually know somebody who owns one.
It is way more reliable than it should be.
Shout out to Christopher, who better get that thing to the range and actually shoot it, because last I heard he hadn't actually shot it.
You suck, Chris.
He bought it as a meme.
It's the way to do it.
And then has not even taken it to the range to make sure his works. Embarrassing, Christopher. Embarrassing.
Shame. Shame on you.
You should feel shame. And I know you don't. But cheers, Chris. You're probably, also drinking at this point.
Amen.
So, no, he's not. He's at work.
Well, he's not watching this right now. It's not a live stream. I just did it again.
He probably is watching this right now.
Stealing time from your overlords?
Yeah, he's probably at work watching this. They didn't hear the intended use case part of that.
Your intended use case, which is just, unfortunately, the answer is there is no perfect answer. There's only, what is your intended use case?
Yeah. The perfect answer is the one you are holding when the moment comes, and you hit the right spot on the target, and it probably is going to work. Because let's be real, like any of these with an FMJ, if you hit an important part, you're ruining somebody's day.
If we're talking about two-legged variants of stuff, the answer is it's really not that big a deal.
Volume.
Yeah.
I'm watching your...
okay, look.
When you don't exceed the ambient noise level, it doesn't work. They don't hear you.
I'm sorry.
And they want to hear you.
Look, I'm just trying not to yell, okay? Look,
it's loud and echoey for us. Hopefully it's not loud and echoey for you guys, but we have a hard wall in front of us. This is a very echoey room. I'm hoping the mics are doing a good job.
With a lot of it, it's going to be go to the range, practice, train, because you're never going to rise to the occasion. This has been documented across all kinds of people, statistics, everybody. The answer is
you fall to your minimum level of training.
Practice, practice, practice. Know your firearms, other stuff. I know that literally everything's expensive right now. It is a nightmare to exist in the United States for costs. It sucks.
But dry fire works for all of these, by the way.
Yes.
100%.
I know we don't have, on here, we don't have a code yet, but look, I mean.
Mantis.
Grendel has a code.
Who's the new one? There's a new dry fire system like Mantis that just came out.
I don't know, but I know what it is.
Yeah. I just saw the video, like an ad for it recently.
As far as, a personal, thing, obviously we would love to be sponsored by any of these companies, but as far as right now goes for you guys, what's the most important thing is, actually practicing, but until you can support this directly with because we get sponsored or something like that, would be Grantham has a code for Mantis.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys have codes out there because they're bigger guys as far as support.
Don't pay full price on anything.
Unless you support us, and then the answer is if you sponsor us, company. Then from there, yeah.
I will point out that one of the benefits of the platform we're specifically talking about, which is AR15s, you probably, if you're watching this, you probably already have a 5.56, right? You're not. I don't think most of my subscribers are brand new at this.
Or if you are, this is going to be even more food for thought that you're going to have to, sort through.
But a cheap 5.56 upper, if you don't already have one, say you started life, you were like, I dove head first into 6R. Well, a cheap 5.56 upper from Palmetto State Armory, some mags, and the ammo to go to the range and take a class, take some lessons, just practice, will pay for itself versus paying $1 plus a round to practice with 6R or 6.5 Grendel or 300 Blackout.
The cheaper you go, because the fundamentals won't change.
Yeah.
So if you can get the fundamentals down, all the rest of it just falls in line.
Yeah, these all recoil roughly the same.
All of it's cherry on top. When you're talking about all these cartridges, the answer is if you practice with a 22 and you're doing fundamentals with a Ruger 1022, you got your 25 round and mag or whatever have you for that.
Or even just a 10.
Yeah, 10. But fundamentals are the important part. Training's important. Range time's important for understanding how things work. The fundamentals are not going to change, but everything else is going to be, Gucci, more effective gear on top of this. 6 ARC doesn't come in anything except Gucci. And the answer is it's thoroughly going to be effective beyond almost everything else that we have here. Even in an SBR format, because it's designed for the military, things like that, for a DoD contract. 300 Blackout isn't going to be another one if you're going to do stuff for short.
Yeah, if you know you're specifically doing an SBR and you're not doing this at longer range, there is only one answer: 300 Blackout.
For the shortest intervals.
Now, not in terms of price, not in terms of round count, but in terms of performance at short range in an SBR. That is 300 Blackout. It's that it falls apart real quick when you start opening that range.
Yeah.
And he and I argue about this all the time because my thought process on this really is, how often in any realistic scenario do I need to shoot 300, 400, 500 yards? And my answer is, I am an old, fat, slow, asthmatic idiot. If you're that far away, I'm not shooting you with my AR.
Disengage or
whatever. I am going to go, well, he didn't already see me, and I'm going to make sure he doesn't, and pulling the trigger is not going to help my cause.
Yeah.
If I know that I'm going to engage at that range, none of these were the right choice, because all of these are marginal, really. I mean, let's face it. If you know you're engaging at 500 plus yards, are you really?
Well, at that point, we're not looking at SBRs predominantly. Not that you couldn't do it, not that other stuff.
But even caliber-wise, you're not going to take an AR-10 at the very minimum. You're not going to step up to a whole other range of power.
But for me, if the answer I have is if I have one thing at all of it, if I have one that I have to do all of it with, and all I can do is push the pins, pull the top off, slap the pins in. For the other one, the answer is 6 ARC at 500 yards. Is going, same mag, same everything. The answer is, it is going to be more devastating than any other cartridge with an 18-inch barrel that you're going to have a different scope or otherwise.
Yeah, it is the one that the further out you go, the better it does relative to everybody else. And let's face it, like, does it lose to 300 Blackout up close in an SBR? Yeah. But not by as much as the 300 Blackout loses at distance.
Yeah.
So it's still more than adequate. It's still better than the 5.56 was.
Yeah.
It's just that's not its perfect distance. But I would argue that it's still doing better than it's doing further out.
Yeah, like if you look at a 12.5, because basically the shortest barrel I've seen on a 6 arc is 12.5. The answer is 12.5 6 arc performs at such a high level that the only thing.
Do you know how much you're losing for speed?
It's like several hundred feet per second, but like you're still doing like.
But it's not massive.
Yeah, and that's the thing is the government wanted a SBR platform that can do something that was more effective than 300 Blackout.
Yeah.
It has to do short, better
and long
than what we already have, and do long, and that's why
because 5.56 guys sucks out of an SBR. Just to put this on record, if you know you're SBRing it, anything other than 5.56, 6.5 Grendel, 6 arc, 300 Blackout, 350 Legend, like. Almost anything is better than 5.56 when you get under a 16-inch barrel.
But if you want to go the single shortest possible and still super effective, it is 300 Blackout.
Yeah.
It is the king of
stupid short
and still effective.
Yeah. It just you got to recognize that by 300 or 400 yards you are lagging behind 6 arc and even 6.5 Grendel. So let's wrap this back.
Yeah.
If you had to pick, because he's already kind of answered this, I admit, but we're trying to wrap this back to something gun related, right? If you had to pick one upper, what would the configuration be? You're not gonna be able to swap. You have, for argument's sake, you have unlimited ammo. It has to do everything. You don't get any other guns other than handguns. Handguns, doesn't shoot rifle rounds.
Yeah, not Smith & Wesson's 350 Legend revolver.
Yeah, no TC contenders.
No, Thompson Center.
Thompson Center, yeah. They made one in an elephant gun caliber.
It's so good.
But you can't get them anymore.
I mean, sure, but it's so good. Yeah.
Just saying, that does not count.
Look, it's you know the answer. It's going to be 6 arc 12.5.
Okay, 6 arc 12.5. I assume suppressed.
Yeah, the answer is with tax stamp times coming back this quickly and with the affordability.
Unless your name is Justice, by the way. Just saying.
Wait, is he sitting?
His is taking longer.
Did he actually buy one?
Yeah.
2 thumbs up, my boy.
He was complaining about it.
Did we all shame him enough that he
I
done
think
it,
so.
apparently?
Yeah. We were all commiserating at the bar yesterday, gun bar.
Oh, I was like, really?
Right? No. The gun bar.
I know I can't necessarily join, but where's the invite?
Did Justice of all people, like squeaky clean, prior military. His tax stamp is the one that's like a week out now.
It's probably why they were worried, is he was too clean.
Right, they're like, look, we can't even find a parking ticket. Like, there's something suspicious here.
Yeah, he's not normal.
Meanwhile, Justice is just like
the nicest.
Yeah.
Out of everyone, like he is the single nicest person that we have. That
Like Justice doesn't even swear. I can't remember the last time I heard Justice swear. Like, I'm not saying he never says anything
that's not
equivalent.
true. I will tell you this: depends on get him talking about military days, and then
that's true. That's true. He has some strong opinions about the shenanigans that occurred.
Yeah, as a former military, for him, his personal opinions about the way things have gone sometimes it's can get a little spicy.
But in regular conversation,
the nicest, the single nicest, the best of us.
Ironically, guys, and actually, ironically, girls, he's the cute one. Like if you were.
Oh, I thought you were pointing at me.
No. If you are like rating all the guys that I hang out with, all the guys I work with, like Justice is the one who's absolutely going his own way, 100%. Not even dating. Like as far as I know, he's not even like going out. And he's the one like if a girl had to pick. I'm just saying, like Justice would be the one. Like, if you lined us up and you're like...
Or depends, because it may be me because of how superficial I'm being 6'8". That's the issue.
True.
Just purely height is the thing.
But if we went, like, if we lined up
I'm not saying
a bunch
I'm
of
trying to
girls,
compare myself.
if we lined up a bunch of girls, and we lined up all the guys were,
Yeah, he's the hottest to all of us because
Yeah.
we know him for real.
like
He's the best. He's the best of us.
he's the nice one. He's got good hair. He's thin. Like he's got a angular face thing going on.
Yeah,
like
the beard.
right. He's got the whole scruffy like casual thing going on. And like he really is that nice guy.
And not the internet, Reddit nice guy.
Right.
But as far as an actual person.
No, he's probably an asshole on Reddit. I got it. Like, 'cause
Well, anybody who's not an asshole on Reddit is weird.
true. But like he is strongly opinionated on the topics he gives a damn about. Like he's usually right, but he's definitely got like this.
Yeah, sure. He's we've just like digressed so hard.
We
that
did.
We're now like
We did.
The answer is the alcohol is finally kicking in because now we're just like,
No, it's not.
talking about romance,
This is just more entertaining.
romance and the bros. Like the answer is he is the best of us. But yeah, 6 arc 12.5 with
Okay.
a can. We digress.
No. I mean, six arc, 12.5 suppressed. Are you going?
Prism optic probably.
Okay.
Like a 3x primary arms.
Okay.
Just because 3x multiplier, it's going to have some bullet drop, or because I want some zoom, probably.
Well, I mean, 3x is enough 500 or 600 yards for a human-sized target.
Yeah, and then backup irons, probably the Daniel ones.
Yeah.
Daniel backup irons, a light.
Nah. I mean, not for the light, the irons.
Like I didn't say this gun wasn't going to cost over $3,000, but
No, I don't want the irons. I don't. They can be free.
I
I mean, if you want to send them to me, Daniel Defense, I'll be more than happy to put them on one of my guns and discuss it.
I don't even know.
But like, I took my mag bus off. I literally put them on a Radical Firearms 16-inch upper, so that in the off chance things got so desperate, I had to hand it to somebody.
Yeah.
They're technically sort of zeroed. Here you go. Here's an upper. Does the upper run?
It's radical.
Yeah, like I had to take a grinder
Yeah.
to the lugs to get it to fit onto a lower.
But as far as I'll take some irons. I like the Daniel ones.
So you're not gonna do like a 1 to 10 or something?
Not necessarily, no. I mean, I'm not anti that, but probably not on a 12.5.
Okay.
Because at 300, look, you can smack the crap out of anything at 300 yards with 6 arc
yeah.
at a 12.5. So the answer is that's not an issue. But at 300 yards, if I can somehow disengage or get closer,
Right.
it's not an issue.
Okay.
And the Marine Corps has demonstrated that smacking domes with a 4X on an ACOG
Right.
at distance is 100% viable.
Dual. Yeah. Yeah. If it holds still long enough, you can certainly do it.
So that's not an issue. And backup irons, all that stuff like that, having those things available to me.
Why the backup irons?
Because if somehow my stuff goes down, things like that.
You have a prism optic.
Yep.
Like-
So, look, the answer is it's me, so everything is overdone. Okay, but like Hornady does stuff like that.
Right,
Look,
but Hornady didn't put it in their name.
PSA has a Trump Glock. And so the answer is
it's PSA.
It's fair. For the memes, that's
Like
fair,
PSA, I'm surprised for the 4th of July this year, and maybe like it could still come out.
American flag one.
There could be like the Biden bomber, and like
It's all blem stuff that doesn't run,
right,
and it's like super crazy.
It's like their worst blems, and they put Biden's face as the
put
roll
here
mark.
that it doesn't work. They put in
Yeah.
the thing. You're buying something that actively doesn't work.
This is actively defective. Like the holes are in the wrong spot. This will not function.
Like, please do not buy this thinking it's real, and it's just like, Cerakoted with like his face on the side of it.
No, I think they need to do a roll mark, a filled roll mark, like Spikes used to do.
Oh, that's right.
Like straight up, his face filled it, and I mean, no disrespect to the president, but it has to be one of the when he was looking stupid.
So when he crapped his pants on at Normandy,
right. No, worse. Because there's been a couple pictures they've gotten where he's like he looks like he's totally stoned. And it's just it's a frame grab from a video. Like, yeah, like his mouth is halfway open. He's like looking up at the sky and he was rolling his eyes or something.
Chocolate chip, come on, man.
Right. And like, that needs to be the roll mark. Now, don't get me wrong. I think there should also be there should be the presidential series. And I think we could do one of every president we've had in the last 20 years. Because all of them there's at least one good picture that makes them all look like morons.
Dude, Trump's hair sideways.
Right.
So you have to gold, the whole gun.
Right.
Because
and like a Bush Jr. with like ducking the shoe. Right. Right. The problem is with Bush Jr., most of it was audible. Like, it wasn't his face that was weird, it was what he said.
He does look like a chimpanzee.
He does, but it's hard to put that into a roll mark and make it work. Like, it's one thing when you have it be a photograph, but I don't know, in a line drawing, I don't know if you can make it work. I don't know. Is there a good picture for Obama? I can't think of a good.
There's got to be. There's got to be.
He was really good at not ever looking stupid.
He's literally the first actual black president where he got the all the suave, smooth.
He could dance, and he could play hoops. Unlike certain other presidents that pretended they could and then they had to edit the video.
Was that Bill?
Yeah.
I mean, Bill's the first black president. I mean, that is the thing. But as far
Are we saying that Hillary was black?
No, she's a dinosaur. She is a reptilian. We're about to wrap up. You're good. So from there,
yeah, we'll edit, but comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and hopefully it doesn't take us this long to get the next one done.
Yeah. So the answer, realistically, overall, for all of this is the June episode, which means that
he's so optimistic that I'm getting this out before the end of June.
Look, you've got to, because
it is the 26th, guys. I am not. I work tomorrow and the next day and so on.
We can literally name this Gears for Queers if we get it out in June because it's still.
You really? He's not the one who has to edit this shit.
That's true. Leave it in.
I don't know. By the way, mine is exactly what I built, which is a short SBR 300 Blackout with a can at 2x optic, done. 2x primary arms, GLX, good to go.
Still fantastic.
So, ciao guys.
See ya.